Welcome into the Steelers Talk Live show. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Our show, as always, is presented by Prize Picks. Back from my bachelor party and ready to talk some Steelers football. I had a great weekend with some of my best friends in the world over the weekend at a nice Airbnb down in Thackerville, Oklahoma. Did some gambling, cooked out, did a bunch of great stuff. But you know what, man? I missed y'all here on Steelers Talk Live, and I am ready to get back into the swing of things here as we continue on with Steelers OTA coverage here on the show. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on our Tuesday live show. First up, on our first segment, we're going to be breaking down the latest Steelers news and rumors, specifically breaking down some big changes that people are noticing about the Steelers defense under new defensive coordinator Patrick Graham. Tell you why I'm excited about those changes with our first segment. Then we'll get into our next Steelers rookie player profile. This time it's Iowa return man and receiver Kaden Wetjen that will be up on the pike. Then we'll get to our latest Madden sim. Of course, we've had 3 weeks of Madden sim. Steelers are 2-1 today. Thursday night football versus the Cleveland Browns. Okay, so get the party started for me down there in the comment section. I want to see who is here to kick off today's show. If you're a real one, you are here at the beginning of the show. Type those me's if you've already liked the stream. We need to get to at least 50 likes before we get into our first segment of the day here, guys. You guys know the drill. We got over 150 Yinzers ready to talk some Steelers football today. We got Ian, we got Fluffy, we've got Mr. Deadhead, we got my lovely fiance Cassie Voth in the chat. Jack Hay, Martin is here, Calvin, Czar Craig, Tristan, Nolan, Kennedy. We've got Czar Craig, Calvin, Gray Marrow. We've got Tristan, Matt, Dwayne, Brendan, Mateo, Deshaun, Lee. Got FC Power. Got Mike Wolf. Got a good crew ready to talk some ball today here, folks. Appreciate your support. And as always, if you want to get a question or you want us to talk about a specific topic around the Pittsburgh Steelers, feel free to Super Chat or Venmo or PayPal at any time, and we'll make sure to talk about whatever Steelers topic you want, whether it's Brendan Sorsby and whether the Steelers should make a play for him, whether it's what the quarterback situation is going to look like with Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and Drew Aller this year. If you got a question about Aaron Rodgers, Bernard, I'm looking at you. I see you're already down there getting some super chats. If you got any questions about the defense or the offensive scheme or anything surrounding this football team, happy to answer those questions to the best of my ability. And of course, if you guys want to skip the line of questions, you guys can always send in a Venmo or PayPal. I don't know if you guys know this, but YouTube takes a 30% cut of all of our super chats that you guys send in. And then also Apple takes another 10%. So the reason why we ask you guys for Venmo and PayPal and why you guys get to skip the line with your questions with those kinds of donations is because we get to keep more of those proceeds. So if you guys want more of your donation money to come back to us here at Steelers Talk instead of Google and Apple, you guys can find us at Jack-Sperry on Venmo or at Captain Jackrabbit on PayPal. Greatly appreciate your guys' support. Now, before we get into the rest of our content today, I want to tell you about our sponsor here on Steelers Talk Live, which is Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Playoff basketball is still here, guys, but it won't be around forever, and there's no better place to cash in during playoff season with our friends at Prize Picks. The app is really easy to use. You just pick more than or less than on a few player stat projections and then lock in your lineup. And if basketball isn't your thing, they have a ton of other sports to choose from as well, with a ton of other stat projections on all of those sports to choose from to truly customize your daily fantasy sports lineups. You guys can take a look here at my future projection here that I have up on my PrizePicks account right now. Looking ahead to next year's football season, I'm taking the more on Myles Garrett's sacks, the more on passing yards for quarterback Aaron Rodgers, and the more on receiving yards for rookie receiver Jeremy Bernard. This is what PrizePicks calls a power play, so I have to get all three correct to cash in. But with this particular projection, I put in a $20 entry fee. If I get all three correct, I'm walking away with $95. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with PrizePicks. Click the link in the comments and description to download the app. And a big thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's edition of Steelers Talk Live. All right, now we get into the questions here. And there is our beautiful producer there, Mr. Ponzi, wearing his shaded glasses today. How we doing, Ponzi?
We're feeling pretty good. Obviously, devastated right now for the Brendan Sorsby.
Yeah,
although,
I don't know.
Tough break.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Ponzi is a Texas Tech Red Raider fan, so obviously in shambles, paying $8 million to a quarterback that won't even play a single down for you.
It is very Texas Tech-y for us to finally get out of the limelight, make a playoff spot, not score a single point in the playoffs, then go out to the top-rated quarterback in the transfer class and him not even play for you. So always used to being little brother, but it really is a tough break. But Sorsby should be interesting in the supplemental draft class. I don't think the Steelers would take him, but a team, 1 year deal left on their contract maybe, that is certainly an interesting possibility. And the first juice we've had in the supplemental draft in honestly,
a long
last
time
time I can remember.
Long time. So I think somebody is probably going to put something on Sorsby, like a day 2 pick. I think somebody will spend a day 2 pick on him. Would it be round 2, round 3? I think at the very least round 4, because this is somebody that was projected as a potential first-round pick next year, okay? And he's all of a sudden available on a discount, because obviously, I don't think anyone's going to be offering up a first-round pick for Brendan Sorsby in the supplemental draft this year. But there are some teams that could maybe, take a shot on Sorsby with a second-rounder or a third-rounder, and we'll see how it goes. And if you're not familiar with how the supplemental draft goes, essentially they go with the draft order, right, the same one they had this year, and they say, okay, do you want to spend your first-round pick on this player? And then you go through all 32 teams. And if all of them say no, then they move to the second round. Okay, do you want to spend your second round pick to pick up this player in the supplemental draft? And, most of the time, if there's only a few players drafted, if any, in the supplemental draft, this will probably be the highest draft pick used on a supplemental draft player in quite a while. So it'll be interesting to see what team does it. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers will be the team that ends up, putting in the highest bid for him, so to speak. So I think the Steelers, I think if it gets to a certain point, they'll put in a bid. I don't know what that point is, 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round. I think at a certain point they would put in a bid for Brendan Sorsby. But, I think that they brought in Drew Aller for a reason, Ponzi. I think they like the talent that he's bringing to the table. I still think they like Will Howard a little bit, and I don't think they really are interested in bringing in a Brendan Sorsby for a 1st, 2nd, or probably 3rd round pick. I think if we start getting to the 4th and 5th round and nobody has picked him up yet, maybe they'll put in an offer for him, but I don't think the Steelers plan on giving too high of a draft pick to bring in Brendan Sorsby, because they just spent a 3rd rounder on a guy in Drew Aller who they like.
And another thing that doesn't really, bode well for the Steelers picking Sorsby here is that, you're going to have to not only spend that draft capital, but you're going to have to basically outbid the other teams. So, if you did really want Sorsby, you probably have to get a second. I think there's a lot of hype around him being potentially even the first, not even first overall pick, but top 5 pick in next year's class if he, had a good year with Texas Tech. But obviously, he's now available a little bit earlier. There were some flaws about him in Cincinnati. So I really do wonder what the highest pick will be, especially with obviously those accusations or the reason why he's suspended from the NCAA with the gambling. It just doesn't really bode well for him, especially in a league where that stuff's not tolerated, like Calvin Ridley. That is a notable example of the past 4 years of someone getting suspended for betting on his own team. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and another thing to consider, too, is that if you're bringing in Brendan Sorsby, then that means Will Howard and Mason Rudolph are pretty much bye-bye, or maybe even Drew Aller will be bye-bye, because, it's already a situation where people are discussing, we have too many quarterbacks to keep on this roster. If you add another one, you have to cut another quarterback. So it's I think that the Steelers probably like their quarterback room, guys, so for me personally, maybe if it gets to the 4th or 5th or 6th round range and Sorsby hasn't been picked up yet, maybe they think about putting in a bid for him. But I don't think they're going to give a day 1 or day 2 pick for sure for Sorsby. I think that they like what their setup is right now. So that's where we're at. But Bernard, with our first Super Chat of the day, says Mina Kimes had Rodgers as the 30th best quarterback on her NFL draft QB list. Chris Sims had A-Rod at the 27th best QB on his QB countdown list. I think he's higher than that, all right? I just do. I think with his intellect, with his arm talent, with his leadership that he brings to the locker room, all of that combined in a vacuum, I think he's around the 20th best quarterback in the National Football League, okay? And obviously that's not, the top 5 like he used to be. He's not what he once was. He can't get outside of the pocket the way that he used to. And if you don't have that out-of-structure playmaking element to your game, that means pretty much everything around you from an in-structure perspective needs needs to be perfect, right? So that's going to affect his rating because there's a lot of quarterbacks in this league that are very good out of structure playmakers, right? And they can operate in structure. So for me, I'd say Rodgers is a game manager type at this point in his career. He is, around the 20th best quarterback in the National Football League. But with the structure that he has in place here in Pittsburgh, he absolutely could have a successful season here with the Steelers. And I think, a couple of those rankings there from Mina and Chris, respectively, could look really dumb in a year's time. I think that this is going to be a really successful season for the Steelers, at least 10 wins probably, barring injuries and all these different things that can affect a season and the results of a season. But, this is at least a 10-7 roster, and I think that the ceiling goes even higher than that, especially if this defense under Patrick Graham, we're going to talk about that in our first segment today, can go from okay, pretty good under Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin to one of the best in football under Patrick Graham. And I do believe this defense still has the talent on it to make that happen. Hopefully that's the case, because if you have a team with that caliber of defense, you don't need a quarterback to be, an MVP candidate, a top 10 guy that's elevating your roster. You need somebody that can operate the offense, play efficiently, avoid negative plays, and we already saw that Aaron Rodgers could do that last year, and now that he's got better weapons around him in the receiving room, Jonnu Smith is out of here. That's addition by subtraction. You're going to get Muth on the field more, Darnell on the field more, still got a good running back duo. This is a team that is built around Aaron Rodgers in a very good way. So I'm excited to see what Rodgers can do this year. I would rank him somewhere around the 20th best quarterback in football. I think those are too low from Mina and Chris, in my opinion. I think he was just better than that last year. $5 from Bernard says Todd Haley says can't make plays outside the pocket anymore. Called him a chuck and duck player. Listen, man, I see where I think what Todd said was a good explanation of what the what was with Aaron Rodgers last year. Everything he said there was true. He got rid of the ball quickly. It was a lot of, screens and, dump offs to the running backs and all these different things. But, it doesn't really does a good job of explaining why it happened, right? And that's really the question. Why did Aaron Rodgers play the way that he did last year? Is it because he's a chuck and duck player? Is it because, he doesn't want to get hit is the narrative that we keep hearing? Or was it because he knew that he had a terrible downfield receiving core that couldn't separate downfield? The only guy that really could was DK Metcalf, and he was getting double teamed a lot of the time. So, what did you want Rodgers to do? Play like Russell Wilson and hold the ball forever and take a million sacks because no one was getting open down the field for him? Or would you rather have him play smart, get the ball out quickly, in space to his playmakers where the strength of the passing offense last year was its yak threats. DK Metcalf, Jalen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell, Darnell Washington. These guys are all awesome after the catch, right? So I kind of chalk up last season to this front office not doing a good enough job putting enough talent and enough downfield separation and separation creators around Rodgers, and that's why he had to play that quote-unquote chuck and duck style. But now that he has legitimate weapons around him, and he's going to have, I think, a good O-line and a good run game to support him and a great defense, and not to mention Mike McCarthy, just stylistically, wants to throw the ball vertically a lot. So I think we're going to see more downfield passing this year, and I think that this offense is better built to throw the ball down the field more than it was last year. All right, Bernard with a 5 says Dan Graziano. He's just listing everybody and what they think about Rodgers. Says questions for A-Rod making the throw this season. I get it, but I don't. The dude been durable his entire career. Man missed one game last year. I mean, yeah, he's dealt with some sort of injury in his last 3 seasons, right? Broken thumb on his throwing hand in Green Bay, his final season there. Then he dealt with some hamstring stuff in his time in New York, not to mention the Achilles. And then also last year dealt with the broken wrist. So, listen, man, it's 4 straight seasons where he's had some sort of injury. He's getting older, not younger. So, the risk for injury is certainly there. I don't deny that, but I do think that Rodgers is one of the most tough individuals in the game, and with the fact of him getting the ball as quickly, getting rid of it as quickly as he does, it's going to prevent injury as well. So I think hopefully he can stay healthy this year. $5 from Bernard says, do you have a problem with A-Rod saying this year was his last year? No. $2 from Bernard says, people think the Steelers will be in 3rd place. I hear it every single year. I heard it last year. Steelers going to be last place, and all of a sudden they win the division over the teams nobody thought they could beat. So, and swept the Ravens with Lamar Jackson playing in both of those games, right? So $2 from Bernard says Coward flip-flops too much. LOL. Or he says, I think people are sleeping on the Steelers. I think they are too. Bernard with a 2 says, Coward flip-flops too much. LOL. I put out a Twitter post about it this weekend of how much he flip-flops because he's been saying Aaron Rodgers is still a top 10 quarterback, all this time. And then he signs with the Steelers and he says it won't work between him and McCarthy. And he ridicules the Steelers for signing a 43-year-old quarterback and they should have gone younger. All these different things. And then over the weekend, he was like, you know what? He's defending Aaron Rodgers again, and he's defending all of his numbers and saying how good he is and all this different stuff. And it's like he just can't make up his mind when it comes to Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, man. He loves to rip on the Steelers, but he's also a defender of Aaron Rodgers, so he's trying to balance that out. And it's like, pick one, man. It's one or the other. The Steelers brought in a good quarterback or they didn't. $2 from Bernard says, I think A-Rod is between 17 and 22, somewhere in that range. $5 from Bernard. I'd rather go 9-8, 10-7, and have a chance than suck with 3, 4, 5 games doing mock drafts in October. I'm with you there, Bernard. Now 9-8 is definitely the purgatory we don't want to be in because you probably don't make the playoffs at 9-8, right? Like you win just enough games to be above 500, but you don't make the playoffs at 9-8 most of the time, right? 10 wins is usually what you need to do to make the playoffs, right? So, I mean. Yeah, 3, 4, 5 win seasons. I mean, I know a lot of people haven't experienced a lot of those seasons here in Pittsburgh because, I mean, right now the Steelers have the longest active NFL streak of longest non-losing seasons with 23 in a row. All right, that is the longest streak in NFL history. So there are people that can legally drink that have never seen a losing season from the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is how long this streak has gone.
Including myself.
Including Ponzi. Ponzi in his entire life has never seen the Pittsburgh Steelers with a losing record. So I get it. Like, people are tired of just the monotony of, the same thing over and over and over again. But go talk to a fucking Browns fan or a Jets fan or any of these teams that have dealt with 3, 4, 5-win seasons when the season is over in October and you're actively rooting for your team to lose so you can get a better draft pick. That is the worst, most miserable place you can be in as a fan. As you're in the middle of the season, it's over, and you're pretty much hoping your team loses. That is not where I want to be. I always want to be in a spot here where I'm hoping the Steelers win and can make a run and at least have a chance. And I get the whole argument of you got to have, a bad season to get a good quarterback, but it's just not true. Most of the teams got their quarterbacks, when the team was already built around that quarterback, bringing in a free agent or trading for a guy, or yes, you trade into the top 10, but you already made the playoffs the year before. I'm looking at Buffalo when they got Josh Allen, the Chiefs when they got Patrick Mahomes. Very rarely do teams draft a quarterback in the top 10 and the team just sucks around them and it's a terrible team in a terrible situation, and then that quarterback ends up playing well. All right, you have to be a truly special player for that to work, like a Joe Burrow, for example, and those guys go in the top 3. You're not finding those guys at the tail end of the top 10. You're finding those guys right in the top 3, and they're going super duper early. So I would rather go 10-7 and try to find a backdoor way to find a franchise quarterback, because those options do exist. I would argue maybe even a majority of quarterbacks have found their around the league. If you just put together a list of all the quarterbacks in teams, okay, all the teams that have their guy at quarterback, their true franchise guy that's on their second contract, they're a veteran, they're not on a rookie deal, all right, I would be willing to bet close to 50% of those are non-top 10 picks and, or they're brought in free agency or they traded for them, right? Having a top 10 pick and drafting a quarterback is not the only way to get a QB. I understand why Steelers fans think it is, because you drafted Terry Bradshaw number 1 overall. You drafted Big Ben in the top 10, right? That's the only way the Steelers have gotten a long-term franchise quarterback. But there's other ways to do it, okay? And I think that one of the ways of doing that is a very smart thing that they're doing right now, which is try to get a very talented but raw quarterback prospect here in Drew Aller. Give him a year to learn from Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers and see where he can end up. I think that is an interesting strategy here from Pittsburgh, and we'll see how that all plays out here. But we did get a Venmo here from my man Donovan Harris. $5 super chat. Or Venmo, I should say. He says, my girlfriend has a conspiracy. Aaron Rodgers' wife is not a real person because she has never seen a picture. Thoughts? I think the paparazzi found her. If I'm not mistaken, they she is a real person. Her name is Brittany. And I think that the paparazzi found them together outside one time and whatever. Like, I think she's real. I think that they just want to keep her private for whatever reason. I don't know, man. It's Aaron Rodgers. I can't say anything would surprise me at this point, but I do. I if I had to guess right now, if I had to bet my life on if Brittany's a real person, I would say she is. $2 from Bernard Nixon says A-Rod is a perfect fit for this team. Haters cry. I agree. He's the perfect fit for what this team needs. All right. Great roster around him. Game manager type with great arm talent. Great leader. Tons of playoff experience. Like, in terms of what the Steelers' goals are for this season from a short-term perspective, he's the perfect fit for what this group needs, given the options that they had, right? There weren't a lot of good QB options on the market this offseason. So $10 from Alex L. says supporting the channel. Jack, Ponzi, and Cassie, have a blessed week. I appreciate you, Alex L. Thank you so much for your support, my friend. $5 from Anzoni Chavez says, how do we feel about Jack Sawyer after his first year in the league? I believe he's going to be a key piece to the defense for the future. Listen, man, I think I like Jack Sawyer a lot, all right? I think he's a national champion. I think, he has an incredield motor, and he did a pretty decent job when he was asked to play last year, right? Like, I remember that Detroit game. He was asked to start, and, he held up. He held his own, right? And he was going up against a pretty damn good offensive line in Detroit, right, with some of the best offensive linemen in football, like Penei Sewell on that line. So I think Jack Sawyer, one of the better fourth options at the edge rusher position in football, bar none. I think he's a great locker room guy, hard worker. He's a Steeler, right? But I think the Steelers are going to try, and what the long-term plan is that he's going to be a third rotational piece once Alex Highsmith or Nick Herbig eventually leaves. And that's what their plan is for him. And I'm cool with that, right? I don't know if the Steelers necessarily plan on him being like a long-term starter with this team. Maybe he can take over a starting job when TJ Watt eventually leaves, whenever that is. But for the time being, I think their plan for right now is that he's a rotational piece, and I think he can be very good at that role. I think that the ceiling is a little bit capped on Jack Sawyer, but I think he's a good player. Definitely happy he's here. $5 from Bernard Nixon says Ben Solak and Bill Barnwell and Warren Sharp and all these stat nerds that pick apart A-Rod stats and QBR is so dumb. And this is why I think it's important to watch the film, right? Like, stats are great, okay? Like, we use them as a great resource, all right? But the best approach is stats plus film, all right? You can't just look at the stats without figuring out the reasons why those stats are the stats. And I think that's what guys like Solak and Barnwell and Sharp do, is they don't really watch film, all right? And they certainly didn't watch Steelers offensive film last year. I think when they look at Rodgers kind of throwing it underneath, they're like, oh, Rodgers never throws it deep. He's not ever going to. But it's like, listen, man, what'd you want him to do? Hold the ball forever when his guys weren't getting open? I think that he was actually played a very smart brand of football last year. And look, if he's still not throwing the ball down the field this year and it's all dinking and dunking and he's getting rid of it immediately again, then we can have a conversation about it, right? But last year, it just wasn't a situation that was conducive for throwing the ball down the field a whole lot. So, I think that's a very important piece of context that stat people like Barnwell and Sharp and Solak miss with those kinds of analysis. But let's get into our first segment of the day, man. Super chats are already flying in, so can't thank you guys enough for the support. Of course, we'll take all those super chat questions throughout the course of the show. But I got a really fun first news and rumors segment for you guys here. We're going to really be taking a deep dive into Patrick Graham's defense here in Pittsburgh and why I believe this group is going to be a special group this year, or at least it has the potential to be a special group. Make sure you stick around as well, because we got my player profile and fourth-round rookie Kaden Wetjen as well. And then we'll get into our Week 4 Madden Sim at the end here, so don't go anywhere, guys. So without further ado, let's get into it right now, the latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. Welcome in the Steelers Talk by Chat Sports, presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. And folks, the Steelers are making a big change to their defense this year with new defensive coordinator Patrick Graham coming into the fold here in Pittsburgh. And on today's show, we're going to be breaking down a whole bunch of reasons why I believe that this Steelers defense is about to really take off under Patrick Graham's leadership, and some of the schematic changes that we have been seeing throughout the early portion of Steelers OTAs coming up on the show. So let's talk about that big change that we have been seeing here in Pittsburgh, which is we're seeing a lot of too high safety looks pre-snap on defense during Steelers OTAs so far. Okay, and for years here in Pittsburgh, we have been mostly a single high defense with the Dick LeBeau era and the Mike Tomlin era, and even before that, this team traditionally played mostly single high safety coverages. Okay, but to be frank, the league has really gone in a different direction as of late, and they've really shifted to more of a two high safety match coverage based defense that's really been taking the NFL by storm. And there's a bunch of different trees of this revolution, like the Vic Fangio stuff, and then Mike Macdonald has come in with, and Jesse Minter with kind of the Michigan brand of this style of match coverage defense, implementing some unique blitzes, the implementation of big nickel players in the slot. There's a bunch of different variations here. Robert Saleh and his disciples have used a kind of a different variation as well that has gotten a couple branches on the coaching tree as well. But plain simply, guys, most defenses now in the National Football League, or at least the modern ones, play mostly two high safety coverages and play a lot of match-based stuff. So quarters, palms, and cover 3 match, otherwise known as cover 7, and a lot of different things that we're seeing coming over from really the Nick Saban stuff, kind of injecting itself here into the National Football League. And Pittsburgh has had, frankly, a lot of success with match coverages in the past. Now, they didn't really run a ton of them here in Pittsburgh under Mike Tomlin, but when they did, they were usually very, very successful, and it was honestly a big reason why the Steelers had their turnaround defensively in the second half of the season last year, and why it was better than the disaster that was the early portion of the season defensively here in Pittsburgh, because they played more cover 4 and more cover 6 and more quarters and all these different types of things. And it appears that Patrick Graham is now taking our defense in that direction, where you're going to be seeing a lot of two high safety looks pre-snap. You're going to be seeing, a big nickel player introduced. We'll be talking about that here in a second, and we're going to be seeing a lot of this kind of variability inside the Pittsburgh Steelers defense to try and create confusion for opposing quarterbacks that we face every single Sunday. However, I do think Patrick Graham is going to be putting his own spin on the Mike Macdonald, Jesse Minter, Vic Fangio, kind of a modern meta of two high safety defense. I think he's going to be putting his own wrinkle into it here, and we're going to talk about what I think that's going to be here in just a second. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor today here at Prize Picks, which is America's #1 sports picks app. Playoff basketball is still here, but it won't be around forever. And there's no better place to cash in during the playoff season with our friends at Prize Picks. The app is really easy to use. You just pick more than or less than on a few player stat projections and then lock in your lineup. And if basketball isn't your thing, they have a ton of other sports to choose from as well, with a number of different stat projections for each of those sports to truly customize your daily fantasy experience. You guys can take a look at this Prize Picks projection I have for next football season. I'm taking the more on sacks for Myles Garrett, the more on passing yards for Aaron Rodgers, and the more on receiving yards for Jeremy Bernard. You guys can download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. Click the link in the comments and description to download the app, and a big thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring Steelers Talk. Now, I think the spin that Patrick Graham is going to implement into this kind of Mike Macdonald, Jesse Minter-esque two high safety base defense is he's going to introduce Belichickian style single high man coverages alongside of that. Okay, and now single high man is not something that's revolutionary or anything like that. But really, guys, when it comes to man coverage, the rule of it is if you can play a lot of man coverage, you should, because it really is the best way to account for every single receiver on on the field. And if you have good enough cover players, you can really take away most, if not all, options for a quarterback down the field, especially if you have a good pass rush that can get home the way that we know the Steelers defense absolutely has. And the reason why I think that Patrick Graham is going to be implementing a lot of these man looks specifically on third downs this year, and kind of mix these in with these kind of cover 4 quarters and palms and cover 6 looks that we're expecting to see here in Pittsburgh this year. It's because they brought in another high-end man-to-man corner to go on the opposite side of Joey Porter Jr. this year in Jamel Dean, who's coming off arguably the best year of his NFL playing career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was excellent in man coverage. He still is, and he's an awesome veteran that knows how to win. All right, so I think what should scare opposing offenses when they have to play the Pittsburgh Steelers this year is because they're going to be lining up in that too high shell pre-snap a lot this year, and then they're going to have the opportunity and the ability and the talent on the outside in terms of their man-to-man coverage ability with Joey Porter Jr. and Jamel Dean to be able to rotate to a single high man coverage post-snap, and you're going to be covered on the outside because very rarely are Jamel Dean and Joey Porter Jr. going to lose along that sideline. You're going to have that zone help in the middle of the field, and you're going to be able to kind of lock up teams while the Steelers pass rush hopefully gets after the quarterback quickly. This is what Patrick Queen had to say about this new defense led by Patrick Graham, kind of describing what I'm talking about here. He says, I kind of feel like guys are just excited, like everybody's bought in. It's good questions being asked. For me personally, I love a challenge because it tests your mind, it tests your will, it tests you as a person. I like being in a scheme I'm familiar with. It's kind of a mix of New England and Baltimore. So that's exactly what I just laid out to you. Too high safety stuff with lots of match coverage. That's the Mike McDonald stuff. And then the man coverage stuff is the stuff that Graham is going to be bringing over from his time cutting his teeth in the league under Bill Belichick. And I also think that, Pittsburgh's going to be spending a lot of time in nickel. The Steelers have been towards the top of the league in base personnel usage for a long time. Now, every defense in the league is in nickel more than they're in base just because of the amount of 11 personnel, 3 receiver sets you see on offense nowadays in the National Football League. But I think that the Steelers are going to be maybe towards the top of the league in nickel usage this year because they have a versatile chess piece and a true big nickel on this roster that is still playing at a high level, in my opinion, in Jalen Ramsey. And if you have a versatile chess piece like that on your football team, use that versatility, okay? And in my opinion, guys, Ramsey is not what he once was as an outside corner. He doesn't have the same amount of speed that he once had playing on the outside. So if you want him to do that, I would say don't, all right? Like, that's not who he is, but he's always projected as somebody that would transition nicely to kind of a safety or a big nickel type of player. And I still think he's one of the best big nickel versatile DB types in the National Football League. In fact, he's very similar in terms of his play style nowadays to Derwin James, who's 215 pounds. Jalen Ramsey is 210 pounds, as he's always been a bigger corner. But both of these guys are physical. They're athletic for their positions. And they can play kind of that hybrid box linebacker and slot cornerback role that is kind of being defined as the big nickel in the modern day NFL. And that's essentially what he's going to be asked to do, especially on those early downs. He's going to be expected, especially because the Steelers are going to be playing a lot of those too high safety coverages. They're going to be expecting Jalen Ramsey to be a big part of the run defense on early downs when they play those too high safety coverages pre-snap. And, he's also going to have to take on the responsibilities in coverage that you would give to your slot cornerback, which in my opinion, Ramsey is more than capable of still providing for your team. You guys can take a look at how I kind of expect things to kind of shake out, especially on early downs for the Steelers. You've got those 2 excellent man-to-man corners on the outside in Porter and Dean. Then you got Brisker and Elliott as 2 really good safeties to implement in this kind of quarters-based kind of too high safety scheme. And then you get Jalen Ramsey as that kind of versatile player that can, yes, play the run, but can also play the pass very well as a big-body DB. And on passing downs, I think they're going to continue to move Jalen Ramsey around. Look for him to play a true quote-unquote rover role here in this defense. And if you're not familiar with that term, a rover linebacker, as it's actually referred to, is essentially a third safety that you bring in as a sub linebacker on passing downs. Okay, the Steelers have used 3 safety packages and rovers in the past. They used to use Terrell Edmonds as a rover linebacker. And if you have a team kind of like the Steelers where you don't have enough pass coverage coverage linebackers on the team, you like to use this because if you got a big body DB like Jalen Ramsey, he can man the middle of the field. He can take away those things on third downs and on second down and longs and force these teams to beat the Steelers on the outside, or else they're going to have to, run the risk of getting this ball intercepted by Jalen Ramsey, who's still an excellent zone player, by the way. But alongside that big nickel wrinkle that we're going to be seeing here in Pittsburgh, another wrinkle I'm expecting Patrick Graham to implement specifically on passing downs is NASCAR fronts that implement TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig on the field at the same time. And because, this is a passing down, right? It's second down and long, third and medium, third and long. You pretty much know your opponent is going to be passing the ball. You don't have to have necessarily the big body guys out there, right? You can have a smaller defensive line to do stunts and loops and get after the quarterback, and then you can have Jalen Ramsey in there as that rover kind of linebacker alongside either Patrick Queen or Peyton Wilson as the lone true linebacker. And then you can bring in Brandon Echols as almost like a true slot guy to take on slot receivers in man coverage if you want him to do that. But up front, obviously, you could have Highsmith, Watt, and Herbig all along the defensive front at the same time. This can increase Nick Herbig's usage compared to what we've seen in years past. And then you can have a true penetrative, pass rushing defensive tackle in there like Keanu Benton. Like that would be one of the better NASCAR packages in the National Football League here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So as long as Sebastian Joseph Day on early downs and Cam Hayward and Derek Harmon and that crew can get this team into those kinds of situations, I think the Steelers defense can absolutely tee off on second down and longs, third and longs, those types of situations this year. And I think that this defense truly has a chance to be special. I think that they have enough beef up front on defense to, get these opponents into third downs and get these guys into passing downs. And then you've certainly got the talent to be able to be versatile and change things up when you get into those passing downs to shut things down, force punts, force turnovers, do all those different things, create sacks. And, I think that Patrick Graham, somebody that's known for getting the most out of his defensive talent, if he does that here with this extremely talented group here in Pittsburgh, I think that we could be looking at one of the best defenses in football, maybe one of the best defenses in Steelers history. And I know that is quite a claim to make, but that is the goal of this football team this year. So let me know, true or false, down there in the comments. Pittsburgh's defense will be a top 3 group in the league this season. Type T if you think that statement is true. Type F if you think that statement is false. Certainly, I believe this team has that potential. But now let's talk about an element of this defense that is not here yet, despite multiple reports that is the plan, and that is safety Darnell Savage, who, in the early days of free agency was announced, hey, he's signing a 1-year deal with the Steelers. I mean, just peep the date here on this Tom Pelissero tweet. It's all the way back on March 10th. We are now at May 26th, and he still hasn't signed. So what the heck is going on, right? Why is Darnell Savage not signed to the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point in time, okay? And there's a lot of people that are wondering that. Well, we got some answers here over the last several days when it comes to Darnell Savage. Aaron Wilson, NFL reporter, tweeted out yesterday, veteran safety Darnell Savage Jr. intends to sign with the Steelers per his agent, Seth Katz. Savage is making preparations for the 2026 season. Quote, Darnell is looking forward to playing for the Steelers, according to his agent. And then Mike DeFabo from The Athletic provided more color on this as well, saying, my understanding is that they came to an agreement. They basically realized they were looking for a depth safety. He kind of fit the price point and the experience level that they were looking for. There was some type of medical issue that then delayed it, but it did not wipe the deal out. Basically, the Steelers were like, okay, once this is not a problem anymore, then they're planning to sign it. So my question is, how long is Pittsburgh willing to wait here? Are they willing to wait till mandatory minicamp? Are they willing to wait till the end of OTAs? Are they willing to sign him during that period between OTAs and training camp and have him, kind of get his feet wet in Latrobe? What exactly, is the situation here? How bad is the injury? And how long are you willing to wait here? Because it's not like the Steelers' safety depth is all that great right now. I like our starters, and Deshaun Elliott and Jaquan Brisker. Jalen Ramsey can play safety if you need him to, but as we discussed, I think he's most valuable on this team as a nickel. And then you have Sebastian Castro and Robert Spears-Jennings, neither of which I feel particularly confident in playing in an NFL game this year. I mean, no injuries happen, right? Now, Dalen Everett, The third-round rookie out of Georgia is an interesting option there to maybe turn into a safety. I honestly think he'd be better as a safety in the NFL than as a corner. So you could include him in the mix as well. But there are a number of different safety options still available in free agency. Jordan Poyer, very close with Aaron Rodgers, by the way, played pretty well last year, actually. He was signed mid-season, actually played pretty decently. Jabril Peppers obviously played on this team last year, so he's got some chemistry with the guys that are here. Maybe you bring him back. He's also an excellent special teams player. Donovan Wilson is close with Joe Witt Jr., the new secondaries coach here in Pittsburgh. He played under him in Dallas for many seasons. You could think about bringing him in as more depth. Chuck Clark is still out there. And then Xavier Woods, another veteran safety, still out there as well. So if the Steelers end up bringing another safety outside of Darnell Savage, I can't say it'd shock me, but it still sounds like Darnell and the Steelers are pretty confident this is eventually going to get done. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. How long should Pittsburgh be willing to wait for Darnell Savage to get healthy and finally sign his contract? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. And that'll be it for today's edition of Steelers News and Rumors. Of course, we're going to continue to get you guys great coverage on the Pittsburgh Steelers all throughout this week. OTAs continue on in the south side of Pittsburgh. So if you don't want to miss any of that and any of that coverage, make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers. Schulerberg with a 5 says, do you think Bernard, talking about Jeremy Bernard, has wide receiver 1 capabilities? Obviously not his first few seasons, or will he be a career 2-3? I see him more as a 2, if I'm being honest with you, Schulerberg, okay? He's just not necessarily as dynamic as somebody as you want your number 1 wide receiver to be, but I think he's going to be like a really high-end number 2. Okay, like I don't know if he'll ever be like an alpha, do-it-all kind of, take on double teams and beat those double teams kind of guy, like a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, like a true superstar guy. I don't see that in Bernard. But what made him my number 7 wide receiver in this class and the highest guy I had in my round 2 grades was because of how well-rounded he is, how smart he is, how good he is after the catch, reliable hands. He's got everything that you want in a number 2 wide receiver. Now, does he have necessarily the contested catch numbers or, the insane explosiveness that you want to see from your number 1 guy? Not necessarily. He does have some explosive plays, but I don't think he's necessarily an explosive player. I think he's more of a reliable player and a smart player and a tough player. And I think that, that kind of translates to, my pro comp form, for example, was Adam Thielen, younger Adam Thielen. I don't think Adam was necessarily ever like a true legit superstar number 1, but man, he put up 1,000-yard season after 1,000-yard season in Minnesota and was a hell of a number 2 and was one of the most beloved guys in that locker room. So, I see something very similar for Jeremy Bernard. I think that he's going to be somebody that's beloved by this fan base because of the way he works, the kind of person that he is, and the reliability and the stability that he's going to bring to this wide receiver room in the future. So even though I don't see the ceiling of a superstar, I do see the floor of somebody that's going to be a hell of a player for this team. And by the way, I think he's ready to contribute to this offense right now. Any more? One more from Schulerberg says, what do you think our future, short-term and long-term, will look like regarding Herbig, Watt, and Highsmith? I think this year they're going to try and do whatever they can to keep all 3. Now, does that include a Herbig extension? We'll see. Does that include telling Herbig we'll get an extension done later and then franchise tagging him next year? We'll see. But I think the plan, Schulerberg, is for these 3 guys to be on the field and on the same team again. We just talked about the NASCAR packages that I'm expecting them to deploy on passing downs. You can't do that if you trade one of these guys. So I think they're going to try and keep all 3 for this season while they're still trying to win now with Aaron Rodgers and trying to get the most out of this year's team. And then next offseason, what they're going to do is they're going to find a way to keep Nick Herbig, whether that's an extension this year, whether that's putting the franchise tag on him next year. They're going to try and keep Herbig, and then they're going to try and trade Highsmith. All right, Highsmith is going to be turning 30 in 2027. Also, he's going to be entering a contract year, and as we know, as we're very familiar with TJ Watt's situation, when these guys get to the final year of their contracts, they want new money. They want new extensions, right? So that's honestly the perfect time to trade Alex Highsmith is next offseason, because I still think he's going to have a good year this year. I still think he'll be worth something on the trade market, and that way you can keep Nick Herbig on the team long term alongside Watt. and, you can still get something out of Alex Highsmith. So I know, I mean, we'll see what happens with Watt. Like, if Highsmith balls out this year and Watt doesn't, I could see them parting ways with Watt next offseason, even though I think the Steelers would prefer him to be a one-helmet guy, as they like to call it. But I do think the plan right now is to keep all three of these guys on the team this year and then move off of one of them next offseason. Probably Highsmith, but, there are worlds in which Herbig and Watt, are the guys they move on from as well. But definitely the betting favorite is Alex Highsmith gets traded next offseason. All right, man. Well, let's get into our next one here, which is our next rookie player profile. And this time it's on round 4, rookie receiver Kaden Wetjen out of Iowa, who is going to be an absolute stud kick returner for this team. I can't wait to tell you about him right now. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome into Steelers Talk by Chat Sports, presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today it's time to meet Steelers rookie receiver and 4th-round pick out of Iowa, Kaden Wetjen. I'm going to be breaking down what really makes Kaden special, and then also an area that I think he's definitely underrated in, and why I think this could end up being an excellent pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers in round 4. Now, before we get into Kaden's profile here and what I think makes him special, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon to welcome him to the Steel City. You never know when these players are watching. I want to see a bunch of likes in there so that if he's watching and he sees the support that he's getting, he feels pretty encouraged by what he's getting here in the fan base here in Steelers Nation. All right, so now, the thing that got Kaden Wetjen drafted, plain and simply, guys, in the 4th round of all things, was his kick return ability. He is a special return man, and I think he has a chance to be one of the best, if not the best, kick and punt return man in the league in very short order. First of all, Wetjen just won back-to-back Jet Awards at the college level. If you're not familiar with the Jet Award, that is rewarded to the best kick returner in the in college in the nation, and he won it back-to-back years. And this last season was one of the greatest seasons we have ever seen from a return man in college football history. His 95.4 PFF return grade was a PFF record for a college returner. He also led the nation in total return yards, yards per return, and then total touchdowns with 3. So this guy has a chance to be a game-wrecking and game-changing type of player for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And return men, especially on kickoffs nowadays with the new rules and all this different stuff, they're more important now. It's a bigger part of the game than it was just 5 years ago. And having an electric return man is going to, strike some fear in the hearts of these teams that we play against every single week, because they know every time they kick it off to Kaden Wetjen, there's a chance that the Steelers could take it to the house. And Wetjen has a chance, in my opinion, guys, to be an all-pro in year 1. This is a young man's position, right? So you're bringing in someone new that was just as good as he was in college. You bring him in here and he's special right away. There's absolutely a world where Kaden Wetjen makes a Pro Bowl, where he is an all-pro, even a first-team all-pro selection if he can return a couple touchdowns in the punting game this year or in the kicking game or whatever it ends up being. And if Wetjen is a special returner, guys, and he's here for a number of years and he's providing multiple touchdowns and a ton of big returns, flipping the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers time and time again, he is absolutely worth that round 4 pick that they used on him. Now, could they have maybe gotten him a little bit later? Maybe, but the Steelers definitely had an agenda on early day 3 this year. They had very specialized positions that they really wanted to get high level and high value type of players at those given positions. Kick returner was one of those. Fullback was the other with Riley Nowakowski, and they got their guys. They probably got the best players in the class at those respective positions. And, I think that, if he is that special returner, he's absolutely going to be worth that round 4 pick, especially because the Steelers had 10 draft picks, man. They had already drafted a ton of players before they ended up taking Kaden Wetjen. So, in my opinion, though, guys, I think Wetjen could be more than just a punt return specialist, a kick return specialist. I think he could actually be a legitimate wide receiver option down the road for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So before I kind of break down why I think that could be the case here, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Playoff basketball is still here, guys, but it won't be around forever, and there's no better place to cash in during playoff season with our friends at Prize Picks. The app is really easy to use. You just pick more than or less than on a few player stat projections and then lock in your lineup. And if basketball isn't your thing, they have a ton of other sports to choose from as well, with a number of different stat projections in each of those sports to truly customize your daily fantasy experience. You guys can take a look at this future Prize Picks projection that I have here on next year's football season. I'm taking the more on sacks for Myles Garrett, the more on passing yards for Aaron Rodgers, and the more on receiving yards for rookie receiver Jeremy Bernard. This is what Prize Picks calls a power play, so I have to get all three correct to cash in my money. And with this particular projection, I can get $95 if I put in $20 with our friends at Prize Picks. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. Click the link in the comments and description to download the app. And a big thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring Steelers Talk. Now, something that I want you guys to remember about the Iowa Hawkeyes offense is that it is heavily run-centric. They very rarely pass the football, and, Kaden Wetjen just didn't really have a lot of opportunities to show what he could be as a wide receiver at the college level. And, because of that, I think there could be a diamond in the rough here that didn't really get the shine at the college level the way he maybe could have at a bigger college program that, passed the football a little bit more, right? So I think, based on the practice film at Shrine Bowl, I'm very intrigued. All right, he was cooking folks in the one-on-ones at Shrine Bowl. Now, obviously, that drill is set up to benefit the receivers more than the DBs, but he was still separating at a high level. The quickness was off the charts. Like, some of the clips that came out was just unreal with the separation that he was creating in those one-on-one situations. He has quick feet, and, I think that he could be a better separator than maybe a lot of people are expecting heading into the league. And in year one, in terms of what he's going to be doing this year, he's going to be like the Scotty Miller type, right? He's going to be a backup, a depth piece that probably doesn't see the field all that much, barring some injuries, but he's somebody that can come in here and, be a solid option and, kind of be like a 6th or 7th receiving option alongside Skoranek and Wilson and Bernard and, all these different guys that are going to end up making the team. And if there's injuries, then Wetjen can maybe take over Roman Wilson's spot as that smaller slot receiving type. We saw Scotty Miller have to play a little bit last year. I see Kaden Wetjen in a very similar role in the wide receiver room here in Pittsburgh in his rookie season. And who knows what the future holds down the road. Maybe Wetjen is just super impressive in camp and, he's impressive throughout the course of this season. And, whether it's Will Howard, Drew Aller, or somebody else as the future quarterback of this team, maybe they develop a special connection and maybe Wetjen finds a way to get into the starting lineup, or at least kind of into that Roman Wilson spot where he's like a rotational 4th spot that plays in the slot. Like, those things are all on the table, in my opinion, when it comes to Kaden Wetjen. If that happens, that round 4 selection will definitely be worth it for Mr. Wetjen. So, true or false? Let me know down there in the comment section. Kaden Wetjen will be an all-pro returner during his Steelers tenure. So, throughout the course of his rookie contract and maybe beyond that, Wetjen will be an all-pro for at least one of those seasons. Type T if you think that statement is true. Type F if you think that statement is false. And, of course, today was the next edition in our line of scouting reports on all the Steelers rookie players. We already have scouting reports on quarterback Drew Aller, a first-round pick Max Ahanacher, a wide receiver Jeremy Bernard, also a guard out of Iowa, another Hawkeye, Jennings Dunker. We put his out a couple weeks ago, and then also Dalen Everett we put out last week as well. So we got a bunch of different options for you guys to choose from. I'll put the chip to the Dalen Everett video in the top right if you want to continue on with our series. But up next here, we're going to be having rookie fullback and tight end Riley Nowakowski on the show here, talking about his pros, his cons, what he's going to be bringing as kind of another specialist that the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted on early day 3 this year. He's a national champion. Lots of good stuff to talk about when it comes to Mr. Nowakowski. So make sure you guys check out that video when it eventually comes out. But that'll be it for our Kaden Wetjen player profile here today, guys. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already for in-depth Steelers videos like this every single day, 100% free. All right, segments out of the way. Now we can just focus on Madden. Sounds good. So, of course, It's week 4 of our Madden simulated season. We're going to be playing the Cleveland Browns on Thursday Night Football. The Pittsburgh Steelers starting their season off pretty well here. 2-1 start to their season. And if you haven't been watching our Madden sims to this point, in week 1, we took a really tough loss to the Atlanta Falcons at home. I mean, the only reason why the Falcons really won that game is because of a blocked punt touchdown towards the end of the first half, and then they forced overtime, and then they ended up getting the game-winning field goal in overtime. But then in week 2, absolute barn burner, craziest Madden game I've seen doing this for the last 3 years. Crazy fourth quarter leads to a Steelers victory in Foxborough, and then just an absolute walloping of the Cincinnati Pussycats at home, 35-16. So right now, Steelers are feeling pretty darn good, man, sitting at 2-1. And now we head into Cleveland with a chance to start our season 3-1 for the second straight season now. So hopefully we can get a win versus the Brownies on the road. Are we ready to push this here, Ponzi? Is it up on the TV for me? Oh, the TV's not working. All right, that's fine. Yeah, okay, yeah, so you're just going to have it on the monitor. Gotcha. All right, well, let's get into it, folks. Thursday Night Football versus the Cleveland Browns. It looks like the Steelers are getting ready to return here. Ponzi got creative with the jerseys here, with the yellow helmets, black jerseys.
A little 2005 throwback here.
A little 2005 throwback there.
Former producer Coop had me inspired a little bit.
All right, folks, and we are off here in week 4. Type those W's if you want to win, or type PIT if you want the Steelers to win. Now, Kaden Wetjen, who we just talked about, takes this thing out to around the 21-yard line. That's where Aaron Rodgers will take the field for the first time today. Not going to lie, man. I would love the Steelers to do this kind of look where you've got the yellow helmets with the black jerseys. And now you got to go up against Myles Garrett and a very formidable Browns defense. Steelers will start in under center. Multiple tight ends are going to hand it off to Jaylen Warren, who's not going to go far. No gain. It'll be 2nd down and 10 coming up. Not a great start to your day if you are the Pittsburgh Steelers. And, of course, you guys see Mike Tomlin there and Kevin Stefanski. You're not allowed to switch out head coaches in an exhibition game. So Mike McCarthy, we do have his playbook as the offense. Patrick Graham, the defense, all that stuff. Shotgun here for Rodgers. Play action. He's going to get hit and sacked by Myles Garrett. Who was that gave up the sack there, Ponzi? Was that Fautanu?
That was Fautanu. I updated the offensive line to be on the left side. So, also numbers should be fixed finally.
All right, numbers should be fixed finally. I did see Jeremy Bernard wearing 17, so that's a good start. But now we have a 3rd and 16. Not a good start for the Steelers offense here. Hopefully Fautanu doesn't just get his ass beat all day by Myles Garrett. 3rd and long, not a place you want to be. Rodgers looking and almost sacked. He has to throw it away. Incomplete, 3 and out to start this game. What a game-changing presence Myles Garrett is, man. Just instant pressure. Now, Garrett hasn't had a sack against the Steelers in a long time. Didn't have a single sack against the Steelers or Aaron Rodgers this past season. And the kick is away from Cameron Johnston. It's going to be fair caught at the 37. And here comes Massage Watson coming out onto the field. He is expected to be the starting quarterback for Cleveland this year over Shadur Sanders. And at this point in our Madden season, he is still the starter there in Shit City.
We might see Shadur game 2.
Maybe we'll see Shadur game 2. We'll just have to see how Watson does against this Steelers defense. They'll go out in shotgun, trips right, with a single receiver and a nasty split out to the left. Watson takes the snap. He will go quick little out route. It's caught for a short gain. Flag on the play and defensive pass interference. Oh, no, offensive pass interference on KC Concepcion, the rookie out of Texas A&M. I guess he ran into somebody that was trying to defend the receiver. So they will start their drive here, 1st down and 20. 1st down and 20 here for Cleveland. They'll go in shotgun with multiple tight ends. Takes the snap. Going to be a quick slant, caught for a short gain. It'll be 2nd down and 17. What's that? As good as I can. It's all good. Shotgun here, trips left for Watson, takes the snap. He's looking, nothing there initially. Pressure getting to him, and it's going to be intercepted. That is Jalen Ramsey. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. The Steelers' big nickel comes up big. Looked like Sebastian Joseph Day was getting the pressure on him, and now the Steelers will take over deep in Brown territory. Let's go. Type those INTs in the chat. I see Czar Craig in here. Joe Brown is in here. Christopher Turner. Sal is here. Gray Morrow. Who wants a shout out? Get those INTs in there. Chris, Tristan, Spencer. We've got Schuleberg in here. DJ KJ. Let's go. All right, Steelers getting in the offset I formation here. Takes the snap. Hands it off. Warren's got a nice hole. He's going to find a little crease. He'll take it to the 20-yard line. First down, Steelers. Let's go, man. Now in the Browns' red zone. Looks like Harold Fannin just called Deshaun Watson massage boy. You don't want to do that. It hurts his feelings. Don't want to do that, dude. Under center here in a condensed formation. Takes the snap. Rodgers will dump it out quickly to Pat Freiermuth. He won't get far. Look like gain of 2, though. 2nd down and 8. I see Chris is asking if I think Cam Johnson's going to be good this year. I do. Bill Berg. It's my guy. There we go. Shotgun here. 2 receivers back there. He's going to take the snap. Quick throw out to Jalen Warren, and he's going to pick up 4. 3rd down and manageable coming up here for Pittsburgh. Dave A says something I notice is no Dowdle. Well, Dowdle's on the team. He's just the number 2 running back. The way that Madden works, and I think Dowdle is out there, by the way. Yeah, Dowdle's out there right now alongside Jalen Warren. 2 running back set. Rodgers takes the snap. He's looking, shifting the pocket, throwing end zone wide open. Touchdown, Michael Pittman Jr. Let's go, baby. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. F the Browns. F the Browns. F the Browns. F the Browns. Type those TDs in the chat. We got Schuleberg, Tristan White, Joe Brown, Cheese, A Vendor, Gray Marrow, Matt, Tristan. Keep them coming, baby. Let's go. The kick is up, and it is good. 7-0 Pittsburgh. Jalen Ramsey getting an interception, leading to a touchdown for the black and gold. Let's go, man. It's a great start there, Ponzi. You got to get the right score up on the screen, though. 7-0, not 6-0. F Ponzi in the chat. All right, getting ready to kick things off. 7-0 Steelers early on in this one on Thursday Night Football. Kicks away. It's going to be fielded at a really good kick here by Boswell. Fielded at the 1.5, but it's going to be a decent return, getting it past the 30 down to the 32. I think that was Denzel Boston. That just returned that shit. He was a return man in college at Washington, by the way. So here we go. Let's see what Massage Watson does here. Second drive of the game for him and the Browns offense. Under center now. Quinshon Judkins the back. Looks like Jalen Ramsey has got his X Factor activated, and there goes Judkins. Breaks through the initial line. Breaks another tackle. What a run by Judkins. Steelers can't tackle, and they have to get their superstar Ramsey to bring him down. Gets all the way to the 47-yard line. First down, Browns. Come on, boys. Got to tackle. It's embarrassing. Here we go, condensed formation here. Multiple tight ends for Cleveland in the single back. They'll send a receiver in motion, fake it to him. Now hand it off to Judkins. He won't go far. Looked like Ramsey was around the ball again. And we 2nd down and 8 after a 2-yard gain. What's that? Yeah, I think Ponzi finally figured out the personnel here. And he goes shotgun here for Watson looking. He's going to throw quickly. It's going to be caught. And there's Malik Harrison out there making the tackle. Be 3rd down and 3. Type those 3s in the chat. Come on. Type those 3s in the chat. Got 300 people watching on 3rd down. Type those 3s in the chat. Got to get off the field here, boys. Let's go. Time to get off the field. Shotgun with a condensed bunch out to the left for Watson. He takes the snap. He's going to dump it off quick. Wide receiver screen. And he's going to break a tackle in space. Is he going to get there? He does. 1st down, Cleveland. Could have stopped it. Who missed the tackle there, man? Was that Ramsey? Did Ramsey miss the tackle there? Come on, Jalen. Got to get him on the ground. Anyway, Browns drive continues here. Shotgun for Watson. 3 receiver set, play action. He's got a nice pocket. Now he's going to step up, sling it. It's going to be caught by that's Harold Fannin, brought down by Jamel Dean after a gain of 8. Of course, Patrick Queen missed the tackle. The guy that had a 20+% missed tackle rate missed the tackle. Of course. Jesus. Shotgun again here. 2nd down and 2 for Watson. 3 receiver set. Handoff. Judkins stiff arms a man. Looked like a stiff arm TJ Watt. Come on, TJ. We're paying you all that money for that? $40 million a season. Can't tackle Quinshon Judkins in open space. Come on, dude. Picks up a 1st down. Now they're on the Steelers' 25. 3 receivers, takes the snap, looking, Watson throwing, open receiver, caught, Harold Fannin. For some reason, Alex Highsmith is on him in coverage, touchdown. Why are you celebrating, Alex Highsmith? God, that's a bad look. For some reason, we have Alex Highsmith in man coverage on Harold Fannin, gets wide open, and the Steelers give up a touchdown. That's a joke, folks. Certainly not looking like the defense I'm expecting from the Steelers this year. Kick is up and good. 7-7 is the score in Cleveland. Raji on the sideline getting ready to go again. Missed tackles on 3rd downs. I mean, TJ Watt getting bitched. We're putting Alex Highsmith in man coverage on tight ends. Like, what are we doing? All right, man, come on. Got an answer. Got to answer as the kick is away, and we're back in Cleveland. It's going to be fielded at the 5 by, it looks like, Jeremy Bernard, who's been an excellent return man. Jukes one guy out of his shoes, gets down to the 29-yard line. There we go, Jeremy. Jeremy Bernard's been pretty good, man. I mean, it seems like every single big return for the Steelers in this simulated season has come via Jeremy Bernard. Even though Kaden Wetjen's a 95 punt returner and kick returner. Going condensed again. 2 receivers for Steelers, 2 tight ends and a back. They're going to hand it to him. Jalen Warren trying to sift his way through, can't find anywhere. It's going to be no gain again. So we've had some games, Ponzi, where the run blocking was awesome. I mean, the Steelers just dominated the Bengals last week with the run game. And there's been some games where the Steelers have gotten bitched at the line of scrimmage. It seems like, at least to this point, that's been the case. I formation here for Pittsburgh. They will go handoff to Warren again. He gets absolutely clotheslined after a gain of 1. So now we're saying after 2 straight runs, okay, Aaron, dig us out of this. 3rd and long with Myles Garrett on the other defensive line. Good luck. And, of course, Madden isn't smart enough to double-team Garrett. Now, Rodgers changing the play at the line of scrimmage, gets into a trips look to his left. Takes the snap. Play action. Now throws open. Nice job by Rodgers finding a tight window throw to Jeremy Bernard, the rookie out of Alabama. 1st and Steelers. Let's go, man. Rodgers gives him the discount double check for the first down. And now another trips look to the left. Shotgun for Rodgers. We'll hand it off to Warren. Look at all that space. And he's going to pick up a decent gain all the way down to the Cleveland 40. First down, Steelers. Let's go, man. Steelers offense looking good. I mean, that first drive, obviously, it wasn't as good. A 3-and-out. And last two drives, man, they're moving the ball. They're going to go empty with Rodgers here on first down. He's got 2 to the left, 2 to the right, 3 to the left in a bunch. Takes the snap, looking, throwing, drag route, dropped by DK Metcalf. Looked like the throw wasn't perfectly placed. And it'll be second down and 10. Now shotgun with two receivers on each side in a stack. Takes the snap. Rodgers will throw over the middle. A little high, but it's caught by Metcalf, and he gets down to the 20-yard line. Back in the Browns' red zone. First down, Steelers. Let's go, man. Not the best placed throws from Rodgers these last 2 reps. Hopefully he can rein it in here. Here we go. Big wing formation. Under center. 5-step drop. Oh, my gosh. Hospital ball to Darnell Washington. I feel bad for that DB. That DB that has to meet him right in the middle. Oh, my gosh, dude. That guy might be dead. Like, dude, that guy might never play football again. You collide with Darnell Washington full speed over the middle. Good luck. Shotgun for Rodgers, takes the snap, stepping up. And there comes Garrett, and he barely gets it away, incomplete. Barely threw it away. The ball was wobbly, so apparently Garrett got his hand on it. Now, as can be expected, man, the best pass rusher in football, Myles Garrett, is beating even a good left tackle in Troy Fautano. And now it's third down and 10. Can Rodgers dig him out here, or are they going to have to settle for a field goal? He's got some time in the pocket, steps up. Now he's going to launch towards the end zone. Incomplete. It was almost picked. Good coverage by the Browns, and they will send Chris Boswell out. Miles Harden was the corner in coverage. And Boswell looked to take the lead in Cleveland again. The kick is up, and it is good. 10-7 Steelers. So we got about 4.5 minutes left to go in the half. Now, ideally here, the great setup here, Ponzi, would be get a stop and then wind down the clock and get another touchdown to go up 2 scores before the half, because Cleveland's getting the ball to start the second half here. So it would be ideal to be able to, have a good lead here as Boswell boots this away back in Cleveland. It's going to be fielded at the 5 and taken out to around the 24. To the 22 is where they're going to put him. Now Deshaun Watson retakes the field. Good last drive for Massage Boy. See how the Steelers can do against the Browns offense here this drive. Now watch this drive. First down here for Watson. Spread formation, shotgun. 2 high safeties for Pittsburgh. He'll take the snap, hand it off to Quinshon Judkins. Good job by Cam Hayward. Look at that. Affecting the play. A TFL for Captain Cam. A loss of 1. He's absolutely dominated his man there. Schuleberg says, was that a Bush reference? Yes, it was. We must stop these terrorist killers. Now watch this drive. Shotgun here for Watson. Throws quick slant, wide open, caught. Concepcion, first down, Browns. Gets down to the 39. God, one of the greatest clips from a president of all time. He was a funny president. Shotgun for Watson. Condensed formation with a bunch out to the left. He steps up. He's got plenty of time. Just throws over the middle. Wide open. Caught. First down, Browns. Can we get a little bit of a pass rush going here, Ponzi?
That's been kind of like a recurring theme that I've seen in these sims.
Like, what the hell, man? We've got Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Derek Harmon. None of them get through? Schuleberg, $5 says that reference deserves $5. I appreciate you, man.
Awesome
We'll put you up on
reference.
screen here during halftime, probably. Shotgun here. 3 receivers. Spread formation. Takes the snap. Watson. He's going to throw. Wide open curl route. Caught. First down. Brownies again to Concepcion. Making the Steelers pay for not drafting him at 21. Can we get a little bit tighter coverage, please? Like, guys have been wide ass open. They go empty. Spread here for Deshaun Watson. Inside the Steelers 30. Takes the snap. Clean pocket again. Throws it to his check down option, Judy. And he'll pick up around 7. Illuminati says it's got to be Tomlin's playbook. It's actually Patrick Graham's playbook. We did change the playbooks. So now heavy formation here for Cleveland, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. Hopefully we can just get this to a tie game before half. That's the hope. That's the hope right here. Make a stop. Just outside the Steelers' red zone here, condensed formation. Watson will throw, drag, caught Concepcion again. First down, Cleveland. How many first downs does he have on this drive? At least 3. Under center again, here's Watson. 2 receivers, both lined up to the right. Hands it off. Judkins, huge hole. He gets in. Touchdown, Browns. Are you fucking kidding me? What are we doing, defense? Quinshon Judkins just bitched us again. And now Cleveland's going to take the lead. And now Raji's going to have to go on a little 2-minute drill here. And they'll need a touchdown to take the lead. But with 1:30, you're just happy if you walk away with 3. Good hold, Shadur. Good hold, dude. Way hold that ball, too. It's a great job, kid. Schuleberg with a 5 says that deserves 5. I appreciate you. 14-10 Cleveland, Thursday night football. Steelers continue to lose in Cleveland. I mean, they lost last year in Cleveland.
And the Thursday night football curse, too.
Yep, and the Thursday night football curse. I don't think they've won on the road versus a divisional opponent on Thursday night ever. Ever! It's crazy, bro. Kick is away. And it looks like Wetjen. No, Bernard's going to take this out. Tries to do a spin move. It's unsuccessful. He gets to the 25. So you got to go 75 yards in 90 seconds to take the lead before half. Otherwise, Cleveland will be getting the ball to start the second half with the lead. Hopefully the Steelers can at least make this a 1-score game and get a field goal, but obviously, ideally, you end up in the end zone here. People are asking, why is Highsmith back there? F. Ponzi in the chat, man. I mean, but like when you actually watch the play, he's not back there. He's just on the cutscene. Shotgun here for Rodgers. Takes the snap. He's looking clean pocket. Now he's got to launch it down the field. Incomplete. Man, tried to go to Jeremy Bernard on the go. Good coverage from Cleveland. It's 2nd down and 10. I appreciate the shot. That was a laser. How far did that go? 50 yards? That had to be 50 yards. Now they go empty with Rodgers. Takes the snap. Now he has to shift in the pocket. And he gets absolutely murdered. Trying to run away from Myles Garrett, who had an instant win over Troy Fautano. And the other guy, whoever it ended up being, 91, just killed him. And they're giving it to Myles Garrett, but now it's 3rd down and 18. Clock continues to tick. No timeout here by either team. In real life, the Browns are calling
Dude,
timeout.
like the timeouts in this game are just incredibly bad.
The timeout strategy is so bad. Now the Steelers just go under center. Are they just going to run? No, they're going to do a 5-step drop. Rodgers has a clean pocket. He throws short. Metcalf's going to have to make some people miss. He makes one guy miss, and that's it. And I don't think Cleveland's going to call timeout. I think they're just going to take this to the half. Well, you're losing for some reason, and now they have a chance to return this. Better get a tackle. They do. And now we'll go to halftime, and the Browns will have the ball up 4, the chance to go up 2 scores if they can get a touchdown. Hopefully the Steelers defense figures it out, man. That was pretty embarrassing, I'm not going to lie. Excuse me. All right. While we're at halftime, let's have a word from our presenting sponsor here at Prize Picks, which is America's #1 sports picks app. Playoff basketball is still here, but it won't be around forever, and there's no better place to cash in during playoff season with our friends at Prize Picks. The app is really easy to use. You just pick more than or less than on a few player stat projections and then lock in your lineup. And if basketball isn't your thing, they have a ton of other sports to choose from as well with a number of different stat projections in all those sports to truly customize your daily fantasy lineups. You guys can take a look here. At my future football projection for next season, I'm taking the more on sacks for Myles Garrett. He's well on his way already in this game, apparently. Taking the more on passing yards for Aaron Rodgers and the more on receiving yards for Jeremy Bernard. This is what Prize Picks calls a power play, so I can get $95 after a $20 entry fee if I get all 3 correct. And download the Prize Picks app today if you haven't already. Use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. Click the link in the comments and description to download the app. And a big thank you to Prize Picks for sponsoring Steelers Talk Live. All right, man. Third quarter getting ready. After absolutely destroying the Cincinnati Bengals last week in a divisional matchup at home, Cleveland holding their own with Massage Watson. Quinshon Judkins and the run game's working for him. And the Steelers' offense has just been okay. Got to play better, man. Gotta play better in this second half if we're looking at 3-1 at the end of this thing. All right, Boswell kicks it away. Defense has got to get a stand here. Don't want to go down 2 scores. It's fielded at the 5. And Denzel Boston will make a move and take it out. A good return again. Are they saying that's at the 35? No way. He was taken down at like the 31. Am I? Oh, okay. Wait. Oh, yeah, it is 31. I was looking at it, and our TV's not working in the studio today, guys, so I have to look at it on our monitor, and it looked like 35 on the screen because it's so small. All right, from the 31, shotgun, Massage Boy takes the snap, read option. He completely fools Alex Highsmith, and he slides down after a good gain. First down, Browns. Yeah, and he's stunting on you. What a joke. What is his overall?
He is a lower overall than Shedeur Sanders at a 70 overall.
It's a 70 overall, and he's doing this well against the Steelers defense. Are you joking?
Absolute joke.
Shotgun again. Watson, play action. He will launch down the field. Pickett! It's tipped up in the air. Good coverage from JPJ. He tried to go to Denzel Boston. It's incomplete. Second down and 10 coming up. Eric Abel's asking what defensive playbook are we using? We're using the Las Vegas Raiders playbook from last year. Takes a snap, shotgun. He's looking. Throws on the run, open receiver caught. How is a 70 overall making that throw? On the run, on the money to Jerry Jeudy? Boo! It's by far the worst defensive performance from our simulated season to this point, Ponzi. Looks like a shotgun here for Watson. He'll take the snap, hand it off to Judkins. He gets stopped behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss of 1. Malik Harrison back there for the stop. Michael stealing my joke here. He says Mike McCarthy got a tan. Mike, you're not allowed to sleep during your afternoon nap in Latrobe, dude. You tend to get a pretty big tan there. Shotgun here for Deshaun, looking clean pocket. No one even close to him. But then finally, because he just hangs on to it forever, Sebastian Joseph Day gets in there for a sack. Can we get a quick pressure from TJ Watt one of these times? Can we get a quick pressure from Alex Highsmith, please? No, we have to wait for Massage Boy to massage the ball for 10 seconds before we can sack him. Sack's a sack. It'll be 3rd and 16. Again, Watson has all day. Now here comes the pressure. Herbig hits him as he throws it. It's incomplete. I don't think that was a throwaway. I think Herbig affected the throw, and the Steelers are going to get their much-needed stop here. Maybe they go for the long field goal here. It's definitely possible they miss. Nope, they're punting. I think it's going to be at the 16 is where it went out of bounds. So the Steelers have a long field here. Down 4, a chance to take the lead with a touchdown, chance to cut it to 1 with a field goal. Thank you guys so much for joining us here for a Week 4 Madden Sim here on Steelers Talk Live. Steelers are 2-1, and now they are looking to take the lead here, down 4 in Cleveland on Thursday Night Football. Trips left, Rodgers from pistol. He's going to shift in the pocket and then dump it off to Warren. Nobody on him. He's going to make one man miss, and he gets down to the 30-yard line. First stud, Steelers. Let's go. A little discount double check for a first down there. It's the second discount double check for Rodgers in this game. I don't know. I don't think so. I formation, 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. Actually, no, 2 running backs here. You got Nowakowski in there as a fullback. Going to go play action, good protection. He tries to throw the quick drag, and it's incomplete. Poor throw from Rodgers. It'll be second down and 10 coming up. Christopher Turner's asking, why is Dunker's hair gray? Good question. I guess he dyed it. Offset I formation, 2 receivers. From under center, play action, and the pressure's there. Oh, my goodness, they're just absolutely sodomizing Aaron Rodgers out there.
The thing is,
Rodgers is pissed, and for good reason. Rodgers is like, what the fuck?
The Steelers' offensive line is rated so much lower, or the higher, than the Browns.
That's so weird, man. Well, anyway, it's 3rd and 17. Unless there's a penalty, I think this drive is probably ending unless we get some Raji magic here. LOL, Schuleberg says Rodgers' beard is the same color as Dunker's hair. It's a good one. And, of course, we go out there with 2 tight ends. Takes a snap, Rodgers. He's going to throw it open. Metcalf is going to have to make some people miss, and he's not going to. 4th down. Steelers going to have to punt again. This is around the same part of the field. Oh, Rodgers still on the ground. No offensive lineman going to help him up? Man, come on now. Got to pick up your guy. So the Steelers drive stalls out here, and the kick is going to be away. Pretty decent punt. It's fair caught inside the 20 at the 19. So obviously another big drive here where the Steelers defense is going to have to hold up against Massage Boy and crew. Cleveland gets a touchdown here. It's going to be tough to come back. So pressure's on for the Steelers defense. Cleveland trying to pull off the upset here at home on primetime football in front of the nation. It's going to be a handoff to Judkins, and he's absolutely buried in the backfield by none other than the Joker himself, Deshaun Elliott. Let's go, baby. Nice job by DE. That's going to put the Browns behind the 8 ball here. 2nd down and 13 as they will go shotgun with Watson. Trips left. Single receiver out to the right. Takes the snap. Watson looking. Now he'll throw short. Boston. He's going to break one tackle, and then Patrick Queen's going to lay him out. Be 3rd down and 9. 3rd down and long coming up here. 3rd down and long coming up here, folks. Let's go. Type those threes if you want to get off the field. Still got almost 300 people watching live. Thank you guys so much for joining us here. Shotgun here for Watson on third. Takes the snap. He's looking, stepping back, now stepping up. Now looking to run, and he gets hit, but he breaks the tackle. What the fuck is that? What the actual fuck is that? Deshaun Watson breaking tackles and picking up first downs with his legs. What year are we in? I don't even think in any year he's breaking a tackle like that. First down against the linebacker, a full shoulder shot. He's just shoving him off of him? No way. Play action here, but pressure from Watt. He's going to throw it away. Incomplete. Pressures? I don't care about pressures. I want to see, especially if you're making $40 million, you better get the quarterback on the fucking ground, 90. Get him on the ground, 90. Here we go, shotgun. Second down and 10. Pressure. Now he's going to throw a quick screen to Judkins. Not going to go far. Good coverage from the Steelers. Third down and 5 coming up. Come on, get off the field. Type those threes. It's our second third down opportunity here. Let's get off the field. Condensed formation for Cleveland. They will go shotgun with Watson. Takes a snap. Steelers send 5. Watson looking to get away. He's going to dump it off short. It's going to be incomplete. Good job. Good defense from the Steelers. Keanu Benton doing the LeBron celebration. And that's going to force Cleveland to punt. Steelers getting the ball back here. Less than a minute to go until the fourth quarter. All right. Maybe it's closer than we would have liked, Steelers Nation, but we're still in it. All that matters is the W. Kicks away. They're going to let it bounce into the end zone, touchback, poor punt. That's where Rodgers will strut his stuff back onto the field. Like, who was doing that animation at Madden? Like, oh, yeah, this is how quarterbacks, walk out onto the field with their head, like their chin up. What?
Got
What?
some NFL news. Josh Jacobs turned himself into Hobart Lawrence PD for battery, criminal damage to property, disorderly conduct, and strangulation and suffocation.
That's so bad, dude.
That's terrible.
That is so bad. By the way, incomplete pass. Myles Garrett got an instant win again. Rodgers had to throw it away.
I'll be surprised. He's a 99.
Yeah, he's a 99. He's one of the best players of all time. I just wish the AI was smart enough to know to double team him or at least chip him. Shotgun here for Rodgers, looking, pressure on him again, and another sack. Oh, my goodness. Myles Garrett is third sack of the night because the Steelers won't double him or chip him. They just put Fautano on an island and say, good luck, kid. So if you're just joining us, Josh Jacobs turned himself in to police department there. Where is that? In Wisconsin? Man, it's not good, man. Shotgun for Rodgers here on 3rd and 17. He's got to have to move the chains. Nothing there. He's going to escape out to his left. He's going to look to throw it, and it's going to be caught. First down, Jeremy Bernard. There he goes. Oh, my gosh. He got all the way to the 44-yard line. First down, Steelers.
Looking like a little vintage Rodgers right there.
Oh, my goodness. I thought for sure that was another Myles Garrett sack, but he rolled out to his left. Somehow Garrett didn't bring him down, and then he throws it on the run to a wide-open Bernard who was working in scramble drill, and nobody was on him. I mean, there was somebody on him, but he was trailing him by a lot. So now the Steelers take over to start the fourth quarter. Past the 40, they go into the I formation. Condensed. It's going to be handoff here to Warren. He's going to bounce it outside, and he will pick up 6.
Logan asks, Jack, when is it time for Renegade?
It's a home game, so never.
Yeah.
Cleveland better not play Renegade. Those fucks. Condensed formation, offset I. It's going to be a quick throw, a little out route, caught by MPJ. First down, nice hands. It looked like it wasn't the best thrown ball from Rodgers, but MPJ used those mitts. Bring that thing in. Steelers' only touchdown came after an interception from Jalen Ramsey, and then Rodgers and the offense punched it through. Now they're in Cleveland territory, I formation. Play action. Rodgers has all the time. He throws over the middle. Did he catch it? No. Good coverage. Incomplete. Did you catch who he was trying to throw to there?
I believe it was Pittman.
Tried to go to Pittman there. Incomplete. It'll be second down and 10 from the Browns 45. Roman is asking, why are people saying 1? It's because the Steelers got a first down. We put those 1s in the chat when they get first downs. Shotgun here for Rodgers looking. They send a blitz, and it's not going to matter because Myles Garrett's going to win immediately anyway. And third and long again at midfield. Yep, that's his 4th sack of the game. What a joke. Here we go. Third down and 15. Rodgers has to dig us out again. He takes the snap from shotgun. He's looking, steps up. Now he dumps it off to Warren, and he's banking on him breaking a tackle, and he's not. 4th and forever. Steelers got to punt and hope the defense gives them one more stop. Look at him. Rodgers essentially limping off the field here because Myles Garrett has just been just taking Troy Fautano's lunch money all day. Kicks away. And the punt will go out at the 13, looks like. All right, defense. I need everyone in the chat. Type stop. Type stop in the chat. All drive. Got to get a stop here. They go heavy on first. It's going to be quick drop and a quick throw and terrible tackle attempt. And this, whoever this is, gets 9.5 yards. Whiteheart? We can't tackle fucking Whiteheart? Who? Second down and inches as the clock continues to tick. Shotgun here for Watson. Off coverage from Pittsburgh. Takes a snap. Play action. No, it's read option. He's got to break a tackle from Jaquan Brisker. What the F? What is this?
Is he in 2019 again?
Dude, I don't care when it is in Deshaun Watson's career. He is not bitching a safety, let alone Jaquan Brisker out of a tackle.
The fact that he's 70 overall is a
That's
joke,
ridiculous.
Too.
Shotgun here for Watson. Hands it off to Judkins. He finds a hole. He's going to try and make a man miss, and he gets tackled after a good gain. Gets all the way down to the 42. First down, Browns. Can't stop him.
It's getting late, guys. It is getting late.
Just can't give up a touchdown, though. Can't let the clock run out on you. Can't give up a touchdown. Those are the two things that are non-negotiables here. Shotgun here for Watson. Takes the snap. Steps up. Clean pocket. Now still looking. He's going to dump it off to Judy. He's going to get absolutely blasted by Jalen Ramsey.
The one good player on defense so far.
Yeah, pretty much. Be what? Second down and 5 here. Close to midfield. Now would be a great time for a TJ Watt sack, who apparently is an X factor, but we haven't seen him all season. Shotgun here takes the snap, hands it off Judkins, and nice tackle from Patrick Queen. It's going to be no gain. Third down coming up. Need those threes in the chat right now. Need those threes in the chat right now. We need to get them off the field. Come on.
If you want the Steelers to have any chance without those timeouts right now.
Steelers still have all 3 timeouts, but if they get this first, they're going to have to start using them. 2-minute warning coming up. Shotgun in the empty formation here is Watson. Takes the snap, looking. Got plenty of time in the pocket. Now he's going to launch downfield. Almost picked again. Deshaun Elliott had it on his hands, and he couldn't bring it in, though. Incomplete.
Stops the clock.
Stops the clock with 2:25. The Steelers are going to have a chance to go down and win this game. Let's go.
We've already had basically 2 game-winning drives by Rodgers in the same game.
Kicks away. They're going to let it bounce. Risky, but it's going to go in the back of the end zone. There we go. But another bad punt. Where their punter is his ass. And now here comes Aaron Rodgers. This is what you bring him back to do. It's what he did last year more often than not, except, ironically, against the Browns.
Yeah, but that was without DK.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
And he got them into position.
Did get them into position. Let's see what they can do here. They're going to have 2 minutes, 19 seconds, all 3 timeouts, and the 2-minute warning. But you got to get a touchdown here. Should be 4-down territory all the way down the field. They'll start at the 20. Shotgun Rodgers will take the snap. He's got plenty of time. He's going to launch down the field. He's got an open receiver. Caught! DK Metcalf! Touchdown Steelers! Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Oh, not going double dipping.
Got him, Ponzi. Got him. DK Metcalf burned his man down the field. Rodgers off his back foot. Delivered a perfect raindrop to him.
DK,
have it your way. He scores! Let's go! Kick is up and good from Boswell. Steelers take the late lead in the 4th.
Kind of giving me Steelers-Bengals vibes.
Let's go, man.
Hopefully they don't lose, though.
First play of the new drive, too. But now Cleveland's got the chance to win this game. That was almost too fast, Ponzi.
That's what I was saying. Steelers-Bengals vibes Thursday night last year.
But, hey, the defense has gotten 2 straight stops. All right? So, defense has got to be feeling pretty good right now. But Aaron Rodgers delivers again in the clutch. He delivered a 4th and 25 for a touchdown with the game on the line and a 4th and 10 with the game on the line against New England. Now he delivers again down 4. Less than 3 minutes ago. Oh, my goodness. A sweet spin move. I looked like it was Judkins.
That was Boston.
Oh, that was Boston. All right. But they'll take over at the 29. Good return from Boston. All right. I need everybody to type stop in the chat. The non-negotiable here is touchdown. They can have the clock run out on them. 4th turnover. Or field goal is okay. It's obviously not preferred, but I'd rather have a field goal than a touchdown. Shotgun Watson. Now pressure. Now stepping up. Nobody's on him. And there goes Watson. Look how fast he is. Gets all the way down to midfield already.
The X factor right now, Sperry, is clock management for both teams.
Yeah, and I don't like that. Still all 3 timeouts for Cleveland. Shotgun for Watson. Takes the snap. Throws quickly. Caught, and there he goes. Jerry Jeudy already in field goal attempt range at the 36. All it took was 2 plays for this Browns offense to get there.
We saw that 2 weeks ago, too.
What a joke this defense has been today, man. All that money on the defensive side of the ball. Multiple X factors on the defensive line and 1 in the secondary. Can't get it done. Shotgun Watson, quick drag, caught Concepcion, and he's going to get a decent gain of 8. Clock continues to tick as they're now inside the 30. Will Howard on the sideline waiting his chance that will never come.
Oh, man.
I kid Will Howard.
I might have to ask Aaron Rodgers at the postgame press conference.
Clock winding down. Approaching a minute to go. Watson. Now he's stepping up. Now he throws a quick in route. Caught. First down. I think that was Whitehorse or whatever his fucking name is. First down, Browns. Less than a minute to go. It's pressure time here, folks. Will the Steelers hold on? Now inside the Steelers' red zone, they go pistol. Watson takes the snap and hands it off to Judkins. Harrison can't make the tackle, but then a nice job by the rest of the Steelers' defense to clean it up. Gain of 4, though.
Hello? Timeout?
No timeouts from either team. Cleveland trying to get this down to 0 as fast as they can and not leave any more time for Pittsburgh. Shotgun for Watson. Takes the snap. He's looking. He's going to throw. Quick drag. Oh, no. It's caught. Is this a first down? It
Yeah.
is. First down and goal for Judkins. Oh my gosh, they're not calling timeout, folks. What is going on? There's no timeout being called. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are they going to snap it? The clock runs out. That is the most Browns finish of all time. The Browns lost at their own 11-yard line with 3 timeouts in their pocket. They just let the clock run out. Oh my gosh, Madden is so stupid. Oh my gosh, but the Browns shit the bed. Todd Monken is walking to the locker room with a brown streak going down his leg here. 17-14 Steelers win the final. And the Steelers improved to 3-1 and have won 3 straight games in our Madden simulated season. Crazy finish again, Ponzi. I was getting ready for this team to be 2-2. Instead, we're 3-1. We're in a great spot here, folks. So type those W's down there in the chat. I don't think we got any more super chats, right? All right, well, that'll end tonight's show. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today. Our next live show, we're planning on Thursday right now. It could be Friday, pending. But right now we're planning on Thursday. Same time, same place. We'll have our Week 5 Madden stream as well as some more super chat questions answered, and, of course, our weekly segments. So I appreciate your guys' support. I'll see you guys then. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.